Your Fitness Business Podcast Snapshot. What 3 changes have you seen in the fitness business industry? Which of those will stick? What changes do you think we'll see in a post-COVID world in the area of marketing? And your number 1 tip to reignite business. All of that and more coming up in today's episode. Thank you for listening to the fitness industry's leading fitness business podcast for owners and managers. The Fitness Business Podcast strives to provide a weekly educational platform for our listeners. The variety of international guests are here to share their expert advice, knowledge, and tips with you, our FBP family. This month's interviews are brought to you by Tribe Team Training.
Are you interested in increasing your center's income and your trainer's income from small group training? Tribe Team Training is the new way to get more members engaged in small group training and paying extra. Click the Tribe Team Training link in the show notes or go to tribeteamtraining.com.au/podcast for your free formula to see how much income you can make from small group training.
Hey everyone, this is your host of the Fitness Business Podcast, Dory Nugent. Episode number 359 is a special episode that was recorded during our April Fanatics panel discussion. The Fitness Business Podcast invited the remaining 4 out of our 7 fanatics onto our live Facebook feed to share their thoughts and their wisdom on the topic, what's happening within business for fitness clubs in Q1 of 2021. We hope that you enjoy this special episode. I'd like to introduce our panel today. We have a great lineup for you. We have Marissa Hoff, we have Shay Wheeler, Sal Pellegrino, and Audrey Edwards. And let's start off by just having our panelists tell us a little bit about themselves. So Marissa, we'll start with you. Just maybe 2 things. What do you do in the fitness industry and maybe where you're streaming in from?
All right. Thanks for having me. First of all, I am in Los Angeles, just north. I was a general manager for an independent health club here locally for about 10 years. It was Stevenson Fitness. And now the owner of Stevenson Fitness and I, Chris Stevenson, are opening a new franchise to the U.S. called Be Military Fit. They've been in the UK for a long time, but will be the first US location starting next week.
All right. Well, congratulations on that. I know I've been following along on your social media platforms, and I'm super excited for you, as I'm sure everybody else in the fitness industry. Wish you much success. All right. Next, we're going to go with Shay Wheeler. Shay, tell us a little bit about what you do and where you're from.
Thanks, Dory. So I'm Shay Wheeler. I own The Function Room. We're a one-to-one studio here, and we're down in Lismore, New South Wales, Australia.
Sal Pellegrino, welcome to our panel today. And why don't you just take a few seconds to introduce yourself and tell us where you're streaming in from?
Perfect. My name is Sal Pellegrino. I'm a senior manager in strategic accounts for Precor. So that means I handle very large facility groups. And I live outside of Charlotte in a little town called Fort Mill, South Carolina. Happy to be here. Thank you.
And finally, we have Audrey Edwards. Welcome, Audrey, and you're up.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be a part of this incredible panel. I am Audrey Edwards. I am streaming to you from Scottsdale, but home is actually Boston, Mass. And I have been in the fitness, grew up an athlete, started my fitness career right out of school in the for-profit field and switched over to nonprofits and have been working with JCCs for about 25, 26 years now.
All right. Perfect. So you can see we have a great variety for you guys today out there watching on Facebook. And also want to let you know that these 4 great guests are also what we call our Fitness Business Podcast Fanatics. And they are 4 of the 7. We had the 3 others on earlier on a group fitness panel, but today we're going to talk about the fitness industry. And I'm going to start with the very first question. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to ask a question, and then I'm going to give each of you a chance to answer the question, direct to the point. We'll try to keep things moving since we have 4 panelists today. You guys ready to go? We're ready to talk about the industry. All right, Marissa, we'll start with you since you're at the top of my screen. What are 3 changes you have seen in the world of the fitness business?
Oh, well, thank you for having me first so I don't have to come up with new things. First, I would say that we all kind of started thinking outside the 4 walls of what we traditionally thought of as a gym. And I'm sure we'll touch base on virtual, outdoor, but even some other really creative things that I've been hearing lately. 2, I think it's the advent of the solopreneur, meaning Group X people and trainers have decided to leave the big boxes and go into business for themselves, and I'm seeing a lot of that all over the world, really. And then finally, I'd say our industry was put into check. We thought we were so important to everybody, and we come to realize that most people thought we were as valuable as a bar. And that really kind of put us in a new way of thinking about how we were perceived. And that's going to be important moving forward.
All right. Great answers. I think you're spot on with those. Now I'm going to move to Shay. You are a sole entrepreneur there at the Function Room. I'd love to hear what your 3 answers are.
Yeah, and I hope that helps to bring an interesting perspective. So the first thing I noticed last year is that I would have people coming to me, clients, and they were looking for some of the mental health benefits of exercise, more so than the aesthetic benefits, which kind of typically drives what we do. I had those deep conversations. People were feeling the effects of lockdown and a lot of kind of instability out there. And I think a lot of people anchored themselves to fitness to help with that. My existing clients leaned on that. But in general, I think people tend to be leading more towards self-care, which I think is a positive thing and something I'm very happy about. In a general sense, I'm starting to see maybe more of a separation between fitness and weight loss outcomes. And I think this has some real positive sides to it. So just by a very quick example, we might know that we understand that kind of 5% of people will lose weight and keep it off. But I know from experience that I can help 100% of my clients get fitter and stronger. And I think we start to shift our focus towards that, things that we have a greater control over, and maybe shift their attention away from, weight loss being a primary marker of success. I think we can put people in a happier and a healthier state and maybe have them start to appreciate exercise, for what it is. And then one thing I have noticed, and I'll put this up because I think it might be a little bit contrary to what people are seeing. I've seen the proliferation of this new kind of conventional wisdom that is everyone must go hybridized online or fully online. So as well as our face-to-face stuff, we need a secondary revenue stream or a secondary way of servicing our clients. And I think there's a lot of instances where that may be true, but I think there's a lot of instances where that may not be true. And I would encourage people to maybe look at their situation, look at what they deliver, who they deliver to, and how they deliver it. And really assess very carefully whether hybridization is for you, because the marketing I see driven towards me as a fitness business owner is that it's the way to go, and that without that, you'll sink. And I just haven't found that to be true. I found the one-to-one connection is more important to people than ever.
Perfect. Yeah, one-to-one connection. Totally agree with you on that. Now we're going to shift over to Sal. Sal, you're kind of coming from the vendor side of things, so I'd love to hear your perspective on this. What do you see as 3 changes?
All right, great. I think the biggest observation or change that I've seen over our industry over the last 14 months was the willingness to share our collective wisdom. In March last year, we all hopped on webinars, right? We didn't know what the hell to do, right? And no one was buying equipment. So guess what? I listened to every webinar there was. And so I was so impressed with how everyone just came together to help each other. I mean, that to me was the biggest takeaway. It was really, really fabulous. The other one, I think outdoor fitness. I mean, obviously, when you see states that have been tremendous lockdowns and have had the beauty of having nice weather, i.e. California, I've been following a lot of California friends, and Marissa can talk to this more than I can, but the great outdoor space that people have created. And guess what? I'm working on floor plans. I'm putting an outdoor space in every one of my plans. I'm talking customers into it and, covering it, skylights, the whole deal, how to negotiate with landlords for inexpensive parking lot space. And then the third one is a heightened awareness of being physically active. I mean, how many people started walking in my development now? I mean, since this whole thing started. So it's really great. I think that being physically active is so critical, and hopefully it'll stick, and it's going to help our industry come out of this, as we ramp back up. So those are my three things.
All right. And they are three great items. So thank you so much for your input. Audrey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm still here. A little bit of repetition, but I'm going to tie it all together here. The first thing that comes to mind is, of course, how we all pivoted to add virtual programming back in March. A little bit tied into what has already been said. It wasn't just fitness. We saw a great need for wellness. And I think our lens and our perspectives have shifted. We offer meditation online, virtually. We've really opened up what we offer our communities. So I think virtual fitness for us is going to stick around for quite some time. We'd have no intention of it going away, as well as being in the building. The other thing I think we've learned over the past year plus is trying to meet members where they are. I think in the past, we were fitness centers. We did fitness. We were good. We offered wonderful programming. We taught when we offered quality programming. But now I think really understanding who we serve and what they want have become much more important than just offering fitness, and keeping our finger on the pulse of that in each of our communities. And especially coming from a nonprofit lens, the deepening sense of community that we have found, the isolation from this pandemic, people being stuck in their houses, there's a lot of conversation around people being very comfortable in their homes working out. They've bought exercise equipment. I firmly and strongly believe that these people, it'll be a transition, but they're coming back, that we need people. We've been isolated for a year plus, and people are ready to come back.
Yeah. Well, great answers, everyone, on that. And we're going to kind of move forward because we've talked about outdoor fitness, self-care, willingness to share information, virtual programming. And I want to ask, out of all those different examples that you have given, what do you see sticking? So again, you know what? Let's switch up the order. Sorry, Marissa.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm happy not to be last.
Hey, go ahead. What do you see sticking?
So people continuing to train for mental health and wellness, as Audrey said, should absolutely stick. I know personally it's something even I've leaned on a little bit in terms of separating fitness and weight loss outcomes. I do think that's a trend we should probably continue to head in. I think it allows people to view fitness a little bit more positively and maybe not be a thing that scares people away. And then, so regarding the hybridization, I realize I didn't necessarily preface this, but I think hybridization will absolutely stay. I need to kind of acknowledge that I'm in a blessed position here because we weren't as badly affected. But I also think, once again, it should be a thing that you look at very carefully. Is this the thing that I want to do? Is this the thing that my clients want to do? And is it going to be best for my business going forward? So I think I had a yes, and a depending kind of an answer there.
All right, perfect. Audrey, out of all of those different examples, what do you think is the one thing that will really stick?
I actually think everything that was mentioned will stick. What resonates the most with me is really giving our members what they want and what they need. Just really meeting them where they are.
Yeah, I agree. I think most of the examples, or not necessarily examples, but everything that we said and we saw as changes, I think you're right. A lot of them will stick. Sal, what's your opinion?
Well, the first one I had was hybridization. I didn't mention it because I thought it was mentioned perfectly by my fellow panelists. But in there, putting, on that, meeting the customers where they are. I think we have to get really good with, going beyond the four walls of our facilities. And I believe that we have to be the wellness hub of your community. I think that's going to stick because I see my customers changing and morphing and pivoting. And I believe that, to me, is here to stay. So the hybridization as well. All the things that were mentioned, I think, are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. But to me, getting beyond four walls is critical.
Yep, I think you make a very good point. And Marissa, go ahead, give us your opinion.
I'd say what I wish would stick, but I'm a little worried about is the perception of the industry and what we do for people. I know that we've been talking about exercise as medicine, but you're preaching to the choir. And Shea is in a really great position because you guys have been open for a very long time. California opened 2 weeks ago. I mean, we literally were closed for just about a year. So we don't know what is sticking or what isn't sticking. I'll tell you that whether it's virtual or outdoor, we're going to see people thought everyone should do virtual, but maybe, like Shea said, not everyone should do virtual. So you're going to learn what to do based on your model and what fits your people, like Audrey said. I think what will stick is what we always did is really, and those of us who are still here, because 25% of us are gone, the people that made connections and made community out of their membership, that's going to continue, and it's going to be enhanced even more. So the clubs that survived here in my local area, they did a tremendous job of connecting with consumers for 12 months, right? And there were a lot of people that went out of business because that wasn't what they did well. So I think what we did in that regard for member experience, and we've all touched on it to some degree or another, but it's going to be enhanced and even more important.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Some really great answers and some really great responses. So moving forward, I have a new question for you. What changes do you think we'll see in a post-COVID world in regards to marketing? And how about if we start with Sal?
From a health club owners, if I'm wearing a health club owner or a facility hat, reaching the clients at home, and how can I effectively attract them to my facility? They're going to do stuff at home. Maybe they invested in home equipment. And how can I meet them with the use of an app, with the use of their home equipment, and the use of attracting them back to my center? So I think, so how to market that, I think it's really critical. I mean, a lot of people have been vaccinated, right? But a lot of people are still, they're so fearful, whether it's media, whether it's everything else. But I think that, clubs have to master that, going back to get those people that have been training at home. And I do believe our industry is very resilient. And I do believe, I always knew it was recession proof because I've worked through 3 of them in my career. But boy, this has been a tough one, Marissa. We lost a lot of doors. We did. But I do believe that we're strong. I believe those who survived are going to do great. Maximizing the technical integration. I mean, obviously, if you haven't made that leap, you got to make that leap now. And then content is king. I mean, when it comes to marketing, it's critical. So anyway, those are, and then be that wellness hub. I really like that term. I heard that on some webinar somewhere, and I really, really like that. So again, marketing, you got to hit those things and how you do it, what medium you use or platform. I'm not that tech guy, but I think those are key highlights.
All right. And I like the phrase content is king. We had that on our one of our guests on the podcast use that term quite often. Yep. Content is king. So, all right, I'm going to take it down to Audrey. You can speak. You're from the JCC, a large facility. So, great question for you about marketing. What are you guys doing at the JCC to market in this post-COVID world?
It's an interesting question. We have a lot of different businesses that we market to. For the fitness business, it's really about conveying the message that we're here. Our middle name is community. And we live and die by that. It's our mission. And it's reminding people who we are, what we offer. We are seeing with the double vaccinations, a lot more people willing to come into the building, but still nervous. So I think we're marketing differently to different cohorts. We're being really thoughtful and very calculated about the way we market what to different cohorts and who we market to.
Okay, great.
Brilliant.
And yeah, great. Marissa, what are your thoughts on marketing? You do a lot of marketing. You've done a lot of marketing in the past. You've spoken at so many different industry conventions on marketing. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this question.
Well, we've kind of touched on a little bit of the wellness perspective. I hope that as an industry, we're going to maybe shift a little bit away from the lose weight and have the 25-year-old, bikini clad type of model as our ad. I mean, we knew that before, but now I think we know that even more. And marketing what the other benefits are. And there's Ursa put out a great video today. I don't know who was on the earlier talks and takes, but about a study about who survived COVID, blah, blah, blah. Great information. So I think that needs to be out there. And coming from the California perspective with the clients that we work with, we're still marketing about cleanliness and safetyness. We're still making sure that when we put posts out, when we do videos of the people in our club, and even on our website, they're wearing masks, they're cleaning. Maybe in Australia, you've gotten past that thing, but here in California, everyone's still like, and I went to visit Stacey Alden at Pro Club in Washington. First thing you walked into the big center was a huge, huge banner detailing all the things that they're doing to keep the place clean. And it's a huge facility, including all the UV things. So I think that's just something that's going to have to be a part of our marketing for quite a while.
Okay, good. And Shay, it's nice you're in Australia. We'd love to hear what the fitness industry is doing as far as marketing in Australia. What are you seeing, or what are you doing?
Well, I don't want to be too representative of the entire industry, but Marissa raised the point about showing that we're taking the appropriate measures. And look, people appreciate that we're going above and beyond to keep them safe. So we're certainly in a much better position here, and we're very blessed for that. But people need to know that you're looking out for them, right? Not just from a COVID point of view, but even exercise-wise. If I'm throwing reckless exercise at a person, I'm going to turn off people, and rightfully so. They shouldn't want to train with you unless you prioritize their health and their safety. So that's certainly a big one. I'll touch a little bit on what Marissa was talking about. It's a move more towards wellness. Once again, it's something we've known about for a long time as kind of being necessary to access the other 80% of people that we don't get. So yeah, a move, as Dr. Bob Sells would say, away from abs and buns and towards hearts and lungs, I think is going to be critical. And to tie that to the mental health thing also, is like a lot of us in the industry don't like what we see with all of the upward social comparisons that come from, having beautiful people and models only in our fitness marketing that doesn't do what you think it does. I think people tend to think that's going to be inspirational for people, but it's not aspirational for people, and it scares away more people than it attracts. So I think that move is important. I think we know that the harm that upward social comparisons do, and comparing with things that aren't even real, it does a lot of harm to people's mental health, and we have a responsibility to do better. And collectively, as an industry, if we can do that, not only will we make a better contribution to society and to our communities, but I actually think we'll do better. It will be a rising tide that raises all ships, because we'll have access to 80% more people than we currently have. It's the way forward, I believe.
Okay, good point. And Sal, finally, you're out and about. You're in contact with a lot of club owners. So anything besides health and safety and a focus on wellness, what are you seeing these clubs doing as far as shifting their marketing?
Well, I think everyone now has an app of some kind. Everyone has streaming content of some kind. And it was a wonderful pivot, but I think it's caused a little bit of a problem where so many of my clients lost personal trainers and lost group exercise instructors. Everyone that I know is having difficulty finding trainers to come back. So I'm not sure if that's the stimulus packages here, if that's people are making more money doing their own thing. So I do believe that that is one thing that's an issue. But again, don't forget the older adult. Okay, I'm a very proud boomer. I'm the oldest one on this panel, and I'm just going to tell you, we got all the money. So go after us, will you? Kids out of the house, college is done, house is done. I got money to spend. So, come on, go after us. Got both vaccines. I'm ready to get a good trainer. You know what I mean? So spend some money.
Awesome. All right. Well said, Sal. I like your angle. And plus, I think you gave all of us a good laugh. So that might be the answer of the night right there. Go after the boomers, according to Sal. All right. final question, everybody. And again, I'll go around the panel, but what is your number one tip to all of our fitness business owners out there watching, our GMs, our operation directors that are tuning in? What's your number one tip to reignite business? Let's see. Audrey, have I had you get the opportunity to go first yet?
I don't remember, but I'm going to take it.
Take it. Go ahead. Take it.
I would say that we have to remind people what they're missing. With all the at-home workouts and with the change and the shift over the past year, it's really easy to work out at home, and a lot of people have been doing it, but they're missing the socialization, they're missing the community, they're missing the relationships, they're missing us. And I think it's our responsibility to remind people of that, because they were members at one point. And I think as long as we stay in front of people, get in front of people, and stay relevant with our programming, we can get them back.
Okay. All right. Marissa, go ahead. Take it away. Number one tip to reignite.
So this is going to sound a little odd, but my tip would be to get out of your business. So what I mean by that is everyone I know in the fitness industry has literally been the most stressed they've ever been in their lives. They're wearing, instead of wearing the 4 hats that they always wore, now they're wearing 15 hats. And I know that club staffing has been reduced. So especially people at the managerial level have really been going hard and doing a tremendous job. That being said, I think the only way to reignite the business is to take a step back, do a little self-care like Shay was talking about. You know, someone I know went out to an Airbnb for a couple days and really spent time doing some self-care and some strategic thinking. I know that that's kind of lofty. Some of you don't have the benefit of doing that. But so many people have been working in the business and really struggling. There's hard to get perspective and strategy without taking a step back. And I think that's going to be really important, because we said not all of us are going to be able to do virtual. I think my friend Matt Wright might have said, I'd rather pay people $9.99 to do Apple Fitness than to come up with this whole new plan for how I'm going to do virtual. So I just think you really need to take a step back and reignite yourself, and then you can go back, reignite your people, and then reignite your business.
Good. Marissa, our good friend, and probably everybody on the panel, Luke Carlson, what is the term that he coins when he talks about stepping back and taking time for yourself? He has a term that he uses all the time. Does anybody else?
Chris Stevenson, you're listening. You know all the I'm following the chat, so I'm trying to keep up with people. So I know traction is his big thing, but Chris, if you're listening, tell us in the chat, and then we'll move on.
Or if Luke is out there listening.
Yeah, you never know.
I can't remember it. I've talked about it so many times on the podcast. But anyhow, let me move on. All right. Shay, go ahead. What do you think? Number one tip to reignite.
So obviously, this has been a massive disrupt for everyone. And what I would say is, like, well, as much as it's been a very negative thing, let's find a silver lining and use that disrupt to remove parts of your business that weren't working before, double down on the things you do best and the ways that you best serve people, and the things that bring you the most joy so you can be the best for your people. People are expecting change. Every business they go to is run a little bit differently now, so get rid of what doesn't work and double down on what does.
All right, perfect. Audrey, go ahead. You're up.
I went. Sal's turn.
Oh, Sal's turn. Tag. Sal, you're it.
Well, it's so hard to have one thing. So I had 3 things, but I'll narrow it down to 2. Communicate and stay connected to your internal customer, your staff. You know, if they're mentally well, if they're focused, they're going to deliver a great experience to your customers. So that's number 1. And then watch the competitive landscape. I love the term orphan members. When a club closes, members don't know where to go. So, you know, have your ear out there, see what's going on. You know, you can pick up 100, 200, 300 members if someone goes out of business. So that to me is a quick hit. But I think you got to get out beyond your 4 walls. I mean, you really got to be that. You got to be in control of your wellness market.
Get your pen ready now for Keep Me's Fit Bizpiration.
Here are the 3 takeaways from this discussion about the fitness industry. Number 1, the industry is seeing a shift towards an overall wellness movement. Number 2, community is still the heart and soul of the industry. And number 3, more than ever, our industry has proven that it is resilient.
Keep Me, smarter member retention. KeepMe.ai.
Now, let's get back to our show. We have so many people watching and following and a lot of questions out there. So what we're going to do is just take maybe the next couple minutes and I'm going to answer, or I'm going to ask a couple of the questions. Here's how I'd like to do it. I'm not going to ask all of you to answer the question. If you let the question really resonates with you, just raise your hand and then I'll give you the platform to answer the question. All right, first one. This is from Daryl in Melbourne, Victoria. Outdoor training is a great idea. If I don't have an outdoor space, can I just take my members to a local park? And is that good enough?
I'm from Australia. I suspect it's the same. That I believe there's some council permits and stuff that you need to attain would be one thing. And then, look, let's say you have that. I would say, well, that's up to you. If you're a great and a creative trainer and you really care about delivering a great experience, you can take any area or space that you have and make that an absolutely kick-ass session. That's entirely down to you. And, of course, if you're stuck for ideas, reach out because there's tons of great people that can give you tons of great advice there.
And that's obviously the BMF model, by the way. So we are, whether it's in the UK or here, primarily we're doing permits through local parks. And, anyone who has the inclination to go outdoors, by all means do so, but go through the required channels. That's part of being a professional. So get the permits, get the liability insurance, all of that will make sure that you're covered. I mean, we're going to have a portable AED. I see a trainer in every park in this area, but I guarantee you we're the only ones that are with insurance, with permits, with the AED and all that stuff. So if you're going to do it, and I think it's a great idea, if it's, like Shay said, part of your model, make sure you do it the right way.
Go ahead, Sal. Yeah, chime in.
If you don't have outdoor space, I have 2 customers right now putting glass roll-up doors, one in the free weight area, one in the spin room, the group cycle room, and there's no outdoor space, but you can open it up on nice days and they can see out and create a little environment if you're in a urban setting. So anyway.
Nice.
And we have beautiful parking lots at our buildings. So to Shay's point, great trainers, great workouts. Space is not as important as the work.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Awesome. So, Daryl, there you go. You've got some great advice. Next question. This one is actually, Marissa, for you.
Okay.
And it is Fiona in Florida. And she says, Marissa, how do we change the perception of the industry? What are a couple of suggestions? I believe you mentioned earlier in one of your answers just about the fitness industry, maybe get a bad rap. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's definitely an industry-wide issue, and I think IHRSA is really working to do that. But we kind of hit on that with our marketing right now. We're caring about your wellness. It's not about fitting into a size 2. So your marketing is going to reflect what's really most important to you, is taking care of the members and making sure that, you're highlighting what you're doing well in regard to that. And I think one of you said the rising tide analogy. I think IHRSA is actually putting out what's called the Active and Save campaign. So if you go to their website, you fill out kind of like this promise of things that you're going to do, standards, if you will. They're not mandated by the government. But if we all fill these out and say, we're making sure that we're doing things above and beyond. So I know that the state is only requiring this, but I'm going above and beyond, and you're filling out all these things. I think ultimately, but it takes a village, right, for us to kind of change that perception. But through marketing, through the Active and Safe, and through even doing what you're doing now, sitting on this call, you're already elevating the industry and the game. And networking is incredible. So Fiona, keep it up. Reach out to me if you ever have any questions. We'll all put our emails, and you can connect with us on Facebook as well.
Go ahead, Sal.
Yeah. Hey, you can do a medical advisory panel. Every health club in America, every JCC, YMCA has at least 100 doctors that are members of their facility. Hey, give them a membership and have them meet in a group exercise room once a month and have them talk about their area of specialization. I've seen a number of my clients do it over the years, and you invite the community in, community weight loss programs, whatever. There's so many creative things. Just think differently. I don't know who said it earlier, but we have to do things a little different coming out of this.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding answer. All right, let's move on. Mark in New York City has a great question. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts on this. Should we make vaccinations compulsory for members to use in our facilities? And then also, what about the staff? Does anybody want to share their thoughts on that topic?
Does that mean it's a hot button kind of a topic? Is that
That's a tough one.
No, it was covered today on the URSA Talks and Takes, and I have great notes. So if you would send me an email or send it to I'll forward my notes to you. But it was if you just visit ursa.org, IHRSA.org, Mark, that will be on there. But I will send you my notes. They covered that. And it's a slippery slope. I had a lawyer on today, and it was really interesting to me. So you can get that recording.
The short answer, Sal, was you can. You can legally ask employees and members to do that. So on a legal side, yes, you just need to think about whether that's something that, as a business owner, you want to do.
And can you?
Sarah Cooperman was on, and she's a lawyer, and I thought she answered those, gave some really cogent information for everyone to consider.
Agreed.
Okay, good.
I'll just say too, Marissa says, well, you can. I think that's interesting because it's such a polarizing thing. What do we know about our marketing? We want to attract people. We also want to repel the people we don't want. So if you took the stance that, yes, I will absolutely mandate that this happens, you're going to attract people and then repel others. So I don't know. It's probably comes down to your own personal opinion on the matter, right? And you'll have people that resonate with that one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you feel like maybe like 8 months ago, it was the mask debate. And now I feel like we've moved on and it's now the vaccination debate. So
I asked the client, I said, oh, you're going to get the immunization. And I thought, like, is this the same as asking someone which way they voted? You know what I mean?
All right. Let's move on to our next question. These questions are so good. All right. We have John from London, and he said he's staying up late to watch.
Oh, thank you, John.
All right. You've all used wellness. How do you each define wellness? P.S. Love your phrase, Sal, wellness hub.
Yeah, that was mentioned in the chat on Facebook too, Sal.
Yeah. You want me to start with that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
John, you're a rock star, man. Thanks for staying up late. We appreciate it. I've never been on a webinar where I had someone from London. I'm like honored, So anyway, I love the term wellness hub, and I think you have to own that in your market, okay? And everything from, knowing how to get equipment for someone. But if I think of wellness, I'm in my 60s, and it's not about, what did you say earlier, Shay? Butts and guts, or I forget. It's about lungs and hearts, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I love that.
Me too. And it's about functional fitness. It's about me going skiing with my kid. It's about me doing the things that I like to do to stay active. So I think sound mind, sound body, and one of the panelists mentioned it earlier about the mind and how critical that is. I think, Audrey, you were talking about, the mindful programs that you guys are doing, and then community wellness. People are social. They need people. Our industry is so good, so important for folks, and they're going to come back. I mean, I'm sorry. We're too good for them not to come back, and we offer too many things, but you got to be really smart. And someone said, jettison the things that are not working. It's a great time to do it.
Right. I think I would add on that mind, body, and spirit for sure. I think also we try to program and think a little bit outside the box of just fitness. we can do that. I'm not sure that every box gym can, but we offer a lot of Parkinson's programming, Alzheimer programming, inclusive programming. So we try to bring wellness to other than average people, other than the normal person who would join a gym. We really try to open our doors to be more inclusive.
And that brings up a little bit about what I was thinking about. So if you're a small, like, outdoor thing like we're going to be, we're not going to have a medical board. We're not going to have a Parkinson's unit. We're not going to have all that stuff. So it really depends on your model. So for us, wellness is emphasizing feeling good. When we're teaching a class as an instructor, like, go ahead and burn off those calories from Thanksgiving. It's not about punishing yourself for eating. It's about, look at what great energy, look at how you feel. On a big scale, Stacy's listening from the Pro Club, they can put in facilities where they have PTs in there, and they can start to bring in cardiologists, and they can really have people who read your blood work. The gamut is going to be huge, and the people who have the resources are going to be able to do some really cool things. But John, over there, you guys are getting certified to teach post-COVID recovery people. That's going to be a very interesting field in the personal training / wellness space, because a lot of people are having effects and we're really not sure how to deal with that. So over in the UK, they're doing some really great work with that. And I think in the wellness space, that's going to be a really unique selling point.
One of the things that I just love about this panel is the fact that, we have Marissa, which is, small, outdoor training. Yeah, itty bitty. Shay, you're also in the same, you're small, but then we have Audrey, you're coming from a large JCC, and then again, Sal from the vendor. So it's great to hear everybody's perspective and definition of wellness. And I appreciate, I'm sure everybody else listening and watching also appreciates the different perception of wellness. We have one more question. We're going to wrap up with Eugene in Victoria, Australia. It's a long question. I'm just going to read it. You guys listen. And then again, raise your hand if you want to start with the answer. In terms of marketing and digitally meeting the member / client where they need to be met, do you foresee clubs leveraging existing platforms or apps to reach those members? Or do clubs invest their own tech infrastructure to stay in control of their content delivery systems?
Similar to what Marissa was saying earlier, her approaches can be a little bit different from Audrey's approach, right? So I am not in a position with this business where I'm going to go invest in that kind of tech. My business is really small. I've got 2 staff. 90% of what we do is one-to-one. And so for me, it's the actual act of texting people individually and sending them individualized workouts is a thing that we can manage and becomes a selling point. At scale, obviously, and I'm sure the other guys can speak more to this, that's a thing that I have seen with some of the bigger gyms down here. And then my kind of your mid-tier guys or your personal trainers that do want to do the hybridization seem to be jumping on True Coach or Trainerize or one of those and leveraging, already developed ones. But that's where I'll end this one off.
Yeah, I would say take advantage of the platforms that exist and the technology that exists versus spending time and money on an area that, I just think it's too complex to do it yourself. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And I'll share with you that JCC Greater Boston took our money and our time and our resources and invested in our own platform. We're launching it any day, and we think it was worth the investment. But again, we're a very, very big organization.
I think also Merrill shared with us, Dory, Merrill he does marketing for Planet. I think he said that during the downtime, kind of like you guys, they spent the time and the money to develop their own platform. But like Shay said, most of us are just going to be like, emailing our people and just having that personal connection. Again, I think Sal is spot on. You use what you have if you can, and if you have the luxury of developing your own platform that's going to meet all those needs, go for it.
All right. Well, panel, amazing job. Give yourselves a round of applause. Just a couple things. First thing, Marissa, I'm going to rewind a little bit. And Luke Carlson, It was a clarity break.
Ah.
Talks a lot about stepping out of the club for your own mind, health, wellness. And he always talks about, and he'll give you 20 different ideas, but he always says how important it is to take a quote unquote clarity break, just to refresh, recharge your battery. So there we go. I knew it would come to me. I just needed a second, you know.
And I saw Heather is watching on Facebook, so she can pop in now and tell us. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's good.
Well, everybody, honestly, I want to thank you so much, not only for coming on today and being on our April panel, but also for being a Fitness Business Podcast fanatic. Now, a lot of our viewers out there might be like, what's a Fitness Business Podcast fanatic? Well, we started something new here at the podcast, and we chose 7 industry leaders from all different facets of the industry that we felt supported and endorsed the Fitness Business Podcast. And it's been an amazing journey. The 7 fanatics, which you can see on our website, we're missing 3 today just because they were on the March panel. You can click on our website, you go on community, and then meet the FBP fanatics, and you can see all 7. But we want to thank you for being our first, and all of your support and all of your endorsements of the Fitness Business Podcast. And it's actually coming to our first quarter. Our first quarter is coming to an end. And then we're going to start with a brand new group. But if anybody out there watching is interested in becoming a Fitness Business Podcast fanatic, please go on to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, click on community, and then you'll see where it says Meet the Fanatics, and you can go on there and fill out the form. Let's take a brief pause to hear from our sponsor, One Fit Stop.
One Fit Stop is modern fitness studio software built for the growing multi-location studio, providing scheduling, client management, programming, payment collection tools, and more that will set your business up to grow. To find out more, go to onefitstop.com or click on the link in today's show notes.
Quickfire 5.
The Quickfire 5 segment is coming up next. Studio owner and entrepreneur Krista Gurka is our upcoming guest. Krista Gurka, welcome to the Quickfire 5 questions.
I love it.
I just can't wait to hear what everybody's answers are. So let's get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What is one life lesson that you have learned from a job that you did when you were younger?
So I've been working since I was 15. And I think one of the best lessons I've ever learned was just to put a smile on your face, because it can brighten someone's day, and people can't really argue with someone who's smiling all the time. And I think it actually puts you in a better mood too, as a person, like if you're the one smiling. So I was a hostess at my first job, and I think I've taken that everywhere with me.
Ah, that's a great answer. I don't think anybody said that one before.
Smile?
Yeah. Gosh. All right. We are off to a good start. All right. If you weren't doing what you are doing now, what would you be doing?
Well, my alter ego would probably be the lead singer of a rock band, but I have no rock talent, or singing talent. So in real life, I would probably be doing something with photography. I love taking pictures, and I always said, like, after I retired, maybe that would be my next career option.
All right. Those are 2 good ones. You can be a singer. It's okay.
Well, if talent seeped through my body in some semblance, I would probably do that, but that has not happened to date.
All right. When you write a book about your life, what is going to be the title?
So I won't share like the expletive, but it would probably be something like "Just shut the F up." I have learned in life that we should listen more than we talk. And I'm trying hard to live that now.
All right. I love your answers. They're so fun. All right. What is one book that you would recommend to our FBP family?
So this is an easy one because the E-Myth Revisited is my all-time favorite book as far as, especially business-wise. I think it is a very easy read. So not the E-Myth, but the E-Myth Revisited, which it just gives everyone a real life scenario. It's also written in kind of a fable, which I like because I think it helps people truly they kind of get into that person as a story and can see themselves in it. So I think, especially if you're a small business owner, the E-Myth Revisited, hands down.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. We'll take it. And then finally, I need you to give us your best 30-second sales pitch why our FBP listeners should come back next week for your episode.
Well, I truly believe, FBP listeners, that we are all the sum of the 5 people we hang out with the most. And if you want to level up your career and your profession and your personal skill set, you should come back and listen because knowledge is power and no one can take that away from us. So I hope you'll join us for my episode.
All right. You heard, you have the invite, FBP family, right straight from our guest next week, Krista Gurka. So please, everybody, tune in next week as Krista Gurka comes and talks about boutique fitness. Next up, a message from our founding partner, Active Management.
Hi, FBP family. It's JT from Active Management, the founding partner of the Fitness Business Podcast. Thanks to the amazing technology at our fingertips, we can now work with clients all over the world. But right now, you can join the free online Active Management Facebook community. It's an amazing group of people just like you. Sure, I share weekly resources, but it's the power of the community that you will experience that will make this your go-to Facebook group. Remember, it's free, fun, and inspirational. Go to facebook.com/groups/active management community.
What you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.